Hey guys, Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel here again. Today we're going to be talking about what you should bring with you out on your rides. Whether you're going on a long enduro ride or a long trail ride, we're going to talk about some of the things that should be in your pack in order to see you through that trip. So I've got a couple of different bags here. I've got a camera bag. That's one of the things that I'll use. So what I'll do is I'll kind of pick and choose which bag I want to take for what the day is going to entail. So maybe it's a camera bag if I'm going to be doing some filming. Maybe it's one of these bags, a small bag that I can put some water in and some tools in and some supplies. Or you could use like a camelback. I like camelback packs because a lot of times you can get a water bladder down inside of there, and some extra tools and some extra supplies. So that's what's coming up next on Dirt Bike Channel. Let's go through it. Okay, so as I said, this is the primary bag that I use for most of my trail rides. I also have some different bags. You don't need a camelback. You don't need this exact pack. What you need to find is a bag that works well for you, that has enough storage space for you to take along what you need for the day. So I'm just going to kind of show you on this pack. One of the reasons I like this pack is it has a few different compartments, and in here I've got tools. I've got the tool kit for my bike. I've got some plugs because I run tubeless. I've got a tire gauge. I've got an easily accessible screwdriver here. These are things to plug my tires. I've got like a stupid little first aid kit. I need to find a better first aid kit. I've got some extra tools that are down in the bottom of here, and then I've got some medication in here, a way to start a fire, and I'll pull all this stuff out. But as you can see, there's a few different compartments where you can put stuff in, and then all my water goes in the back. We'll pull that out and show you here. You can use a water bladder or you can use bottles, and depending on the day, I'll do a different thing. So I'm going to pull all this stuff out on the table and show you what's here. So believe it or not, everything you see here came out of that backpack. And this is just kind of like the typical stuff that I'll take on a trail ride if I'm going to go. If I'm just going to be around the house and I'm only going to be a teeny bit away from where I live, I maybe won't take all this stuff. I'll maybe take a different pack that doesn't have everything. But if I'm going to go out for a period of hours, I'm going to take everything you see here and then probably more water. So let me just kind of go through. So these are some of the basics. These are some of the things that I've learned by experience that you need. And depending on whether or not you're running tubeless, then this section may not be applicable, but we'll go into that. So one of the first things, and you know what, I'm just going to kind of go around in no particular order and show you what I have here. So you can assign an importance on this. The very most important thing is hydration. So you're going to need hydration just to take care of yourself. And then some of these things are going to be able to take care of the bike. Some of these things are going to be able to take care of you. I'm just going to start here because I think this is something that gets overlooked a lot. I've got ibuprofen and Tylenol in here. In fact, I've also got a couple of allergy, some Benadryl in here just in case I need that. I don't take a lot of medications, but every once in a while, if you take a spill, it might be worthwhile to have some ibuprofen to keep the swelling down, or maybe even some Tylenol. Now, if you have, and that's what I've got in here, some ibuprofen and Tylenol. If you've got a concussion, probably shouldn't be taking ibuprofen just because you don't want to accentuate the bleeding inside your head if you do have that, but just most of the time it would be nice to have a little bit of ibuprofen. I also have one of these golfer's first aid kits in here. I need to find a better first aid kit with some bandages and things and find a better solution there. But I am carrying that. I'm carrying a couple different ways to start fires. I've got 2 different lighters in here. It's always nice to be able to start a fire when you're out in the wilderness. In addition to that, I've got a brake lever in here. Actually, this is a clutch lever. I'm going to need to get, and for some reason I don't have it here, but it's always a good idea to have a couple of levers with you, one for each side of the bike that you can install. Moving along here, I've got some various tools. Now these kind of Y-handle tools are very awesome. So we've got a couple of different sizes for Allen wrenches, and then we've got a number of different sockets. The most common ones like 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 12 millimeter, and then this one over here, I've got another 12, a 13, and a 14. So I can take apart a lot of stuff with just that. We got a spoke wrench here. I don't use this one nearly as much, but that is something that is nice to have on the trail. And then this crappy old spark plug here. I don't foul plugs. I've never fouled a plug actually on my 2-stroke. Never. In 5 years, I've never fouled a plug. But just in case, I'm going to carry that. And then I've got a small little screwdriver in case I want to make, you know, adjustments to my carburetor, to my idle. Now that I'm running electron carburetor, this, I haven't needed to use this as much, but because it's easy to just turn it with your finger. But a lot of your carburetors, you're going to need this to be able to adjust the idle. In addition, this will also help you to adjust your suspension. So then I've got just the basic toolkit for my bike. So I carry all those tools because that way it would be a lot easier if I ever needed to, you know, actually pull a tire off or something like that. There's some basic tools in there that make it nice to have. So if your bike comes with a toolkit, I strongly recommend that you carry that toolkit. Take a look at what is in there and see what you need to augment with. And that's what I've done here, is I've augmented my toolkit, my basic bike toolkit, with some other tools that I know that I want or I need. Moving then up here, this is basically because I'm running tubeless. Now, I love running tubeless. I'm a big fan of running tubeless over tubes. One of the reasons why is because then I can repair the, if I do get a puncture wound or something on one of my tires, I can actually just put a plug in there. And these have saved my ride. So instead of, you know, getting a flat tire on your tube and your ride's over and you kind of limp back to the truck or limp back, you can just throw one of these, throw a plug in your tire and then pump it up, because here's your pump, you know, pump it back up and keep going. So I love the tubeless, and this is something now that I'm keeping with me, because I slam a lot of rocks and a lot of roots. And even with the lower tire pressures that I'm running on the tubeless, sometimes that means that you can get a puncture, you know, through your front tire. I haven't had one on the back, but I've had a couple on the front. And so then you can just, you know, use these tools here and run one of these plugs right down on the tire, then pump it back up, you know, with some sort of a real lightweight. This is a really, really lightweight tire pump that you can use to, you know, get your air pressure back. You need to have some way to be able to check the air pressure. This is just a cheap, lightweight way for me to check my air pressure. So that's what I'm taking. I also take a couple of energy bars. I try to have 2 or 3 energy bars in my pack just in case. You know, if you had to spend a night out somewhere, these things would be worth their weight in gold. But it's also just nice to have them to get some energy. You've been out for a couple of hours, you know, eat one of those things and get your energy back. So I take 2 or 3, sometimes 4 energy bars with me. Along the lines of taking care of yourself, I actually take some wet wipes. These are like baby wipes, and I'll put like maybe 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of them inside a Ziploc bag and then just seal that up. Because when nature calls, it's, you know, and you're stuck out there in the woods or wherever you are in the desert, it's so much better to be able to use wet wipes to wipe the area that everyone knows what I'm talking about, because you can, that way you're not going to have a lot of chafing, because you can get yourself actually clean again. I've got some Kleenexes here in case you know, need to blow your nose, that type of stuff, or just whatever. The other reason that I have the Kleenex is to be able to start a fire. So that gives you some good kindling to start a fire with. I also carry with me, most of the time if I'm going on a long ride, I'll carry with me a little bit of extra oil. I run a 2-stroke bike, so this is nice to know that anywhere I go, I'm gonna be able to just fill my bike up with gas, because I can just dump this little bottle. This is a 3.5 ounce bottle of AMSOIL. I can just dump that in my gas tank and then use pump gas and, you know, kind of shimmy the bike around like that to mix it up. Again, we talked about water. This is probably one of the most important things that you could do of all this stuff, because you're going to need to hydrate yourself. So depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing, sometimes I'll use 3 or 4, you know, 2 to 4 bottles of water with me, or I'll just fill up my hydration pack. The hydration pack is nice because it's a little bit easier to get the water out, and you can put a lot of water in your hydration pack. The hydration pack I have is like 100 ounces, so it would be like a number of these, like 5 of these, you know, bottles. And then I also take a zip tie or 2, just in case you have something that you need to kind of re-secure back on your bike. It's nice to have a couple of zip ties. Then this is just an extra battery for a GoPro. Just because a lot of times I will have a GoPro with me. So this is all, you know, the only other thing I would say is maybe a knife. Well, definitely a knife to be able to, you know, cut some things or whatever. And this is pretty much what I take with me on some of those longer trail rides. So everything you see here is something that I've needed in the past. You know, so it's not like I'm just screwing around and bringing this stuff just in case. These are all essentials that I have actually needed when I've been out on, you know, on some of these rides, with the exception of this. I've never actually needed a spark plug, but I think it's, you know, a prudent thing to have. One of the other things that I take with me all the time is a communication device. So I'll have my phone with me in case I need to make calls, you know, get emergency help. So I'll take my phone with me. I can't believe I didn't put that out there. But I'll also sometimes have like a GPS with me, just in case you get lost. A lot of times on your smartphones, you can download apps like this is a PDF. This is a PDF app that you can, or a map app that you can run, and it works off GPS. And so even if you don't have cell service, you can figure out where you are based on you know, the GPS in your phone, or if you're using just a, you know, like a hiking GPS or a trail GPS or something like that. So other than that, that's pretty much it. A way to communicate, a way to know where you are. Again, the bag is not necessarily so important. Whether you use like some old camera bag, or whether you use, grab this other one, whether you use like some sort of an army backpack, you know, that you can pick these things up at swap meets or at gun shows. There's a lot of places that you can find bags that have a lot of different compartments, you know, that you can store stuff in. Say put some of the medical supplies or your first aid kit somewhere in one of these. But there's a lot of different things. Guys, that's just what I take with me. You might take some different stuff with you, and I'd like to hear about why you're taking what you're taking. But that's a good way, you know, kind of good spread to get started with and to start thinking about for out on your rides. So thanks for tuning in, guys.